All right. Good morning and happy Thursday. We're with new streaming network WGSN-DB Going Solo Network Radio. Welcome to your Health Vibes with Elana. And I'm your host, Elana. And today, my journey is to raise your heart, body, and soul vibes to the next level so you can transform your life today. And today, our topic is getting the good vibes with self hypnosis. My guest, Michelle.
Woo! So happy to be here, Elena. Thanks for hosting me today.
I am so glad. I've been waiting for today and just our conversation.
I know, me too. We scheduled this ages ago.
We really did. And then the day's the day. So, Michelle, I know about you, but can you kind of tell the world a little bit about who you are?
I would love to. So I'm Michelle. I grew up a California girl in Northern California. And I was always interested in a lot of things. Like I remember winning some award in high school that was like the good at everything a little bit award, which, kind of says a lot, I think, about me. I went off to college and then grad school and found my way into a career in digital marketing, which I loved because it was constantly changing and it was creative and it was persuasive. And then after doing that for 20 something years, I read a novel called The Hypnotist Love Story about a woman who was a hypnotherapist. And I was like, oh my God, I want to do that. And so I took all the classes and then the pandemic happened. And my life, like so many other lives, just kind of felt like, we used to play this game when my mom wanted to distract us at children. She'd take a deck of cards and throw it up in the air and say 52 card pickup. So this was like my version of 52 card pickup. Everything got a remix. And I decided to open my doors as a clinical hypnotherapist. And that was about 3.5 years ago. And I love what I do. I help people kind of get out of their broken mindset or ineffective or depressing or anxious or phobic or stuck mindset and move into a different one. And it's amazing. It's just amazing to me that this tool, which is, I don't want to say I wouldn't say it's simple, but it's not that complex. It's really learning how to reframe, talk to your mind, release old baggage, move on to a new way of thinking is able to help so many people. And so along the way, I realized how important kind of self-hypnosis is and how I train many, not all, but I would say most of my clients to do some self-hypnosis work while we're working together, because you can use self-hypnosis to solve so many challenges and problems. It's just really, really effective. And so I decided a couple months ago that I needed an app. Why not have an app? And just a couple weeks ago, I built apps. Now, to be fair, I built apps for clients during that long career in digital marketing, but did I ever build my own app? Spec it, design it, come up with the words, come up with the processes? No, I'd never done that. Now, truth be told, I did get some help from overseas, but it's just amazing. So now I'm a hypnotherapist with her own app.
Yes. Woo! And just that is so amazing. I can see your energy, the excitement, and it just shows the passion that you have of how you just want to help others and be a part of that I want
to help people get out of their stuck mindsets and into places where they are happier, feel better, accomplishing more.
Right.
We all get that. And which is why I think part of the reason when I met you, Elena, a few months ago, I was like, I want to know this woman. She has this happy, effusive, loving energy that just can't be stopped. So thank you for having me on your show.
Well, thank you. When I met you, I just felt like kindred spirits, your energy, who you are, the way that you showed up. And just your voice is so soothing and comforting. And that's what I think really is one of your special gems about you is just when you talk, you just feel at ease and you feel safe and just
it's like it's like this little part of me got kind of like birthed again or something because, I mean, of course I use my voice to lead
Yeah,
teams and write presentations and all that stuff
right.
for all those years. But when I moved into doing hypnotherapy, I came to realize that actually I have a really good voice for this. Like I
Yes,
have a
you
voice for
do.
it that is, and I don't mean to brag, but was
It's
really
not.
good. Was really good. And voice matters a lot
Oh,
in hypnotherapy. And I met someone once and she said, it was like a little one-to-one, just getting to know this
yeah.
gal. And she said, well, I met this other hypnotherapist and I thought she was really great until I realized that her voice was exactly like my mother. My mother was the foundation of all the problems. And so that wasn't going to work well. So, it is important when you are looking for a hypnotherapist, find
Yeah.
one whose voice you really like and preferably isn't sounding like your mother. So if I sound like your mom, sorry for me.
Sorry, not sorry. And then I just want to give a shout. I have some listeners watching right now. Ellen and Joe, holler. Thank
Hi,
you.
Ellen. Hi, Joe. Thanks for being here
Thanks for
today.
being here. So excited. And I so agree about voice because sometimes like it's funny with my voice or certain things, I teach or and it's a little bit higher or certain things or even like in dating. So when when I met my husband on a dating app and I was like, what is his voice gonna sound like? Sometimes their voice not necessarily matches the what it was. And so I called when we talked, I was like, ooh, I do like it, like the energy of it. But it really is how someone you take that voice, how you communicate and what you hear and how it affects the body and soul.
Absolutely. I said to a good girlfriend the other day, I dated a fellow over the summer. He was lovely,
Yeah.
lovely. But one of the things that made me go, huh, was that his voice wasn't that attractive to me.
Totally.
And I don't think I'd ever met somebody that was attractive in many other ways,
Yeah.
but where their voice actually was like, "Oh, like this is okay for an hour or a date, but I don't know about this for, a whole weekend or
Yeah.
something." And yeah, so I totally hear you on that and have this like new perspective on it.
It's so true. I mean, and you have to be honest with ourselves. Just because you like something, doesn't just because someone's nice, just because this, doesn't mean like anything. You have to have the whole package. You have
I
to,
know you were in the dating world for a while, and I have
yes.
found myself thrust back into it again when that was not the game plan. Part of that 52 card pickup was that the partner who I had met and fallen head over heels with. I mean, like this guy, like when I met him, I was like, oh my God, I have manifested the man of my dreams. Um, and one of the things that was important to me was that he was really healthy because my husband had been unhealthy and my husband passed away. So I met this other great guy and he was just, oh, he was tall and sexy and musical and smart and charming. But he came down with a bizarro disease during the pandemic and passed away.
Oh,
And so I did not anticipate finding myself back in the dating world in my 50s, but lo and behold, here I am. So
yes, you are. And anybody would be lucky to be with you. So anybody watching,
I'm looking for a great guy, not an
he's
okay guy, like the
like
guy for me. Bring him
yes.
in, bring him in.
Yes, we're putting it out to the universe. He's on his way. Jack Ching, bada bing, boop. He's here.
I love your feather. I absolutely love your feather. Before I met you, I went to some meeting somewhere and I saw the feather and I thought, who is that gal? I need to know her.
I love it, just the energy. And so, talking about good vibes and hypnosis, like you have such good vibes too. Maybe you can, we can talk a little bit more about it. 4 way. I saw on your site like 4 ways to transform your habits and showing up and doing this. So I love, like, could you give us some tidbits of how to show up for yourself? And also, I still want to talk a little bit more about your app and what
Yeah.
it's really about.
Yeah.
But
Let's
there's so many
get to
things.
that.
Yeah.
I think a huge piece of this is recognizing when you've got a problem
Mhm.
and deciding what you're going to do about it. We all have bad days. Like we
Yeah.
all have crummy days. We all have days when somebody cuts us off on the freeway or where you realize that you ran out of milk or, whatever it is.
Definitely.
But But when it's something that's been going on for a while,
Mhm.
or a habit, or it's really infecting your life,
Mhm.
then it's important to recognize, what are the choices you have in front of you, right?
Right.
What can you do about it? That wonderful man in my life used to talk about, how are you going to write that story? Are you the victim or the victor? Right?
Ooh.
Yeah. Think
Wait, say
about
that
that.
again. Are you the
Think,
what? Can you say
are
that
you
again?
the victim or
Mhm.
are you the victor? Right?
Ooh.
And so, a lot of times you can look at a story, and if you're starting to write that story and realizing that in that story you're showing up as the victim, what would it take to look at it another way
Mhm.
and rewrite it as the victor? So,
Ooh.
a silly example, but I think this came up because my kid went off to this was years ago. My
Yeah.
kid went off to a Boy Scout adventure sort of thing for the
Yeah.
weekend. And he came back and was telling us about what happened, and this happened, and they had to carry rocks, and they had to do this. Um and my boyfriend,
Yeah.
Scott, he's gone now, but he was like, you could tell this story the other way. I carried all the rocks. I did all of this. And, it was just this good way of realizing that, like, there's two ways to look at things, at
Mhm.
least two ways.
Yeah.
And I have found that hypnotherapy is a very effective way for helping someone once they've realized, like,
Mhm.
they're ready for a change,
Yeah.
to get that support and really turn around that thinking. I've worked with a couple of people women who have had the habit of pulling their hair or pulling their eyelashes as like
Yeah.
a stress response,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And we've we've gotten past it. I had a client who 50 years. She'd been doing this for 50 years. And I was instrumental. I mean, obviously, the
Yeah.
thing about hypnosis and hypnotherapists is really they're just here to be a guide,
Yeah.
to talk to you. Like, hypnosis happens inside your own brain. Like, I don't
Ooh.
control inside your brain. I don't control that. I guide it. But, some people are like, oh, I don't think that will work for me. Oh,
Yes.
you know
Yeah.
what? It won't.
Right.
You
Because
have
going
to get
into
to
it, you
the
have to.
place of saying, I
Mhm.
think this could work for me.
Yeah.
And then it can do just amazing things.
I totally agree with that because, we get in our own head and then we are the ones to get in the way. For someone like that to say, so someone's like, I don't know about it's like, are you controlling? How do you kind of have someone at ease for that? Because, you're so good at this. And when somebody shows up, but they have to show up for themselves. They have to be open, if you're
You
not going to be
first have to kind
open.
of show up for yourself, right? I can't
Yeah.
really walk down. It's not very effective to walk down the street and be like, oh, you should have hypnotherapy for this. Or what do you think about hypnotherapy for that? It kind
Yeah.
of needs to come from a place when a person is ready to say, yeah, this has been a problem and I could use some help,
Yeah.
right?
No,
Um,
definitely.
and so I try and do a lot of education. I write blog posts. I do little videos. I'm on a number of podcasts. I
Yeah.
really want to sort of get that, including yours. Yay!
Yeah.
I really want to get the information out to people that hypnosis does not need to be scary.
Mhm.
It's not scary. It's really easy. I have
No.
a free event I do every month. So if you go to my website and on my classes page, it's always listed there. So you can always come to a free event once a month and hear my voice, see if you like that kind of a thing. I also have a number of products that I sell. So that's really easy and cheap for people to get an idea of what this is like, what working with me would be like.
Mhm.
Um, but there are certain people and certain kinds of problems where, the best choice is to work with me or the clinical hypnotherapist of your choice, a one-on-one. So, for somebody who's trying to give up a hair pulling habit of 50 years,
Yeah.
a recording ain't going to do it.
No,
You need
definitely.
to seek professional help.
Yeah.
Um, but I've helped people with anxiety. I've helped people with stress, people going back to work, people with health problems, relationship problems,
What
all
about
over
like
the map.
flying or things like,
Yep,
other
I've
fears like
done I've done
suicide
flying.
or things like that. I had a boyfriend who smoked cigarettes way back in the day and he did like hypnosis for it and it was incredible. Like for what it was. And then just want to give my parents a little shout out, Deb and Rob, my parents. They said, we believe in this, and all your threads for the past weeks are bringing good vibes to your life. There's too much beep, 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 beep going on out there. Yeah, my parents have always really taught to show up for yourselves, and they, have really been a big role in my life and just of who I am, and just grateful.
Happy Feldmans.
It says, what we try to accomplish, which always doesn't come through, is that we can't afford the luxury of a negative thought.
You really can't, Oh, good. Stephanie's,
thank you,
your sister. Okay, great.
Because it helped my sister with the flying. So
it's amazing. It's amazing what it can do. And I think of it really as like, there are problems that are sort of smaller or simpler, and then there are problems that are sort of bigger, right? And that's really why I created my app, because my app is going to help a lot of people, especially with the problems that are on the not as big side, right? So, if you have a childhood trauma that is massive and you're just really not past it, if you've had a habit or a problem for 20, 30, 40 years, one-on-one work is probably worthy of getting some
100%.
Looking into it, right?
Yeah.
But if you have sort of a like, wow, I'd like to feel more confident, or wow, I'd like to drop 10 pounds, you might see great success with doing self-hypnosis. And there are tons and tons of self-hypnosis things on the internet. Some are paid, some are free. I sell some on an Etsy website, but you can go to YouTube and find stuff. Now, if you don't know the maker, you don't know what it's going to say. Now, the good news is that your subconscious really will only take in what it thinks could make sense, right?
Ooh,
so if I told you, Elena, when you wake up tomorrow morning, your shoes will be the size of a Christmas tree, like you're not going to believe that, because that's ridiculous, right?
Already are big. I have an ET toe, and I already joked, so it might have just like.
Well, I have huge feet too, but are they the size of a Christmas tree? No, they're not the size of a Christmas tree.
I'm just kidding.
Anyway, I don't know why I came up with that. Never said that before. There you go. Shot of Elena's feet, people. Come on,
you had to.
But there's problems that people sort of getting a little support and really taking the brain down into that quiet place. It's super helpful. So all these resources that are out on the internet, they're all pre-recorded, right?
Ooh,
they're all made, right? Of course, and so they're going to be, I'm not saying they're bad. I have products out there too, but they're not specific to the individual. And what they're not custom. They're not about exactly what makes sense to you, right? And so I realized that the tools exist now, that I can make this recording for people quickly, affordably, I don't even need a whole lot of data, but collecting just a couple of data points enables my app to make a custom script. So
how cool is that?
Exactly.
Walk us through, like
I'm going to tell you how the whole thing works. So you go to my app is a web app. It's not on your phone right now. It might someday be, but right now it's just a web app. And you go there.
It's an amazing app.
Okay, so it is pretty amazing. Like, I think it's amazing. It's the first of its kind. I have not seen anything like this from anybody else. No. And I've even asked a few like hypnotherapist groups, and they're like, no. So you decide what you want your script to be for, and you put in a few variables. So the first thing that you put in is your name. So because I like the idea of having your name in your script, that makes it more personal. Now I had somebody ask the other day, I really don't want my name in. How do I get around that? And I said, well, you could put in something like inner spirit, or most loved person of the universe, or you could put in, like, you don't have to put in your name. You could put in something else if you want. And then you pick what you want the recording for. And there are 18 choices of what you can make that recording for. There are some things that hypnotherapy is for that is not on the list, because I didn't think they would be good uses for my app. Like the hair pulling. No, you can't make one for hair pulling, but you can make one for confidence and anxiety and weight loss and sleep and many choices.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put in where you would like to imagine yourself being, because some people want to imagine themselves being on a windy mountaintop in Nepal, and some people want to imagine themselves being on a beach in Southern California. So you can just put in whatever you want, wherever you want, be as descriptive as you want with where you want your recording to be set. And then there's an additional field where you get to put in additional information. So if you want a particular affirmation, or you want it to say something in particular, you can put in some additional information in that variable field. And then you create an account, which is just like, give me your name and email and that kind of thing. I validate your email because I want to make sure that that email works for you.
100%.
Right? Well, and it's important because the script is emailed to you.
Oh,
okay. Mm-hmm. So you'll see a message that, you need to verify your email address. So you just go and click on the link, verify your email address. And then about 5 minutes later, you get an email from makemyhypno.com that has a link in it. Mm-hmm. And that link will play your recording. Now you can, you can download your recording from that page. So you can download it straight to your phone or your computer. I set it up this way very intentionally. I don't want people to have to like re-log into my app to play the recording.
No, that's simple is so much easier.
And this way you can download it to your phone, and then you can have it on your phone wherever you are. So if you're traveling, you probably have your phone with you. You can still listen to this recording. I recommend listening to the recording 2 to 4 times a week. Mm-hmm. It is set up to be appropriate to listen to it either when you're having like a quiet moment during the day or at night when you fall asleep. It will work fine in both situations. Don't listen to it when you're driving or operating heavy machinery or trying to have a conversation. Like, you want to put your attention on this. But could you listen to it while you were doing the dishes or folding laundry or something like that? Yeah, that'd be fine. Like, and I'm getting people to go there and give it a whirl. So I just launched it. We're recording it in early September. And so I'm still working out a few kinks. Like I will say, I ran into a kink today. I didn't realize it was a kink. But it's up and running and delivering scripts to people. And so far, I mean, very early feedback, but people love their scripts. The scripts are all created with specific instructions from me on how to take those inputs and use my metaphors, my voice, my style, to make the outputs. And so it's exciting. I am really thrilled to be able to help even more people in this way.
And I love it so much because it is something so different and something that isn't out there. And you know what? You learn and you grow, and nothing's perfect. So it's, trials and tribulations of what it is. And
I think it'll be really, it's good right now. It's good enough that I was comfortable putting it out to the public. And I've gotten very positive results. But it's only going to get better as I learn more and more. Like, I didn't know somebody wouldn't want her name in it. Okay. Right. And I'm just working out all the details to make it happen, but it's a really exciting way to create something that is specific and custom just for you, as opposed to, what you get on YouTube or Calm or Insight Timer or one of those things that, the quality is great. I'm not knocking the quality, but it wasn't made for you.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that, which I love. Also, I want to give a comment, my friend Dave. And if you guys like my website, he was the one to do it. And, talking about showing up and doing and make it easy. That's what you need to do. It's like, I think when we put too much pressure and like, oh no, I don't know how to do it. And when it's something that is custom, I love seeing my name or hearing my name, because A, half the world cannot get my name right. B, I never see it spelled right. And C, when I'm doing this, I get so frustrated. It's like these messages, Elana, this. No, everybody, it's Elana. Thank you, Deb and Rob. And Stephanie with an F, my sister. But what I really love is what you said is having you show up to custom make. That makes me feel special. That makes me feel seen. And it, you know what, not to knock any others. There's so many that are great that are already pre-recorded, but it's not for me. It's
Right.
not
This is for
solely.
you. And
Mhm.
this is the gap that I saw. And I was like, you know what? I can do this. I knew how to do some of it and learned a lot about a lot in the course of building this app. And it was kind of my summer project this year. And I'm now excited to be able to share it with everybody.
I love that so much. And then also with that, do you do like group stuff or, you know, you do one-on-ones,
do.
you do like couple stuff, or like maybe even a work environment, there's stuff going on. And, you know, with things, I think, you know, you're so good with, you know, one-on-one, but do you do others, or how
Yeah.
else can people
Yeah,
work with
I
you?
absolutely do. So I do workshops and presentations for companies and organizations. I and that work sometimes is in the hypnosis range. Sometimes it's a little bit more in the human behavior leadership
Love
kind
that.
of range. So that depends on kind of what obstacles they're working on and how I have content to help kind of thing. I do group sessions for things a few times a year. I do a workshop called SOS, Stop Overeating Sugar.
Ooh, maybe can you tell a little bit about that? Because, you know,
Yeah.
right now, I think
So the next time, and I do one around the holidays that's called Boost Your Mood, Not Your Food. I need to get you invited to that one. I'm big on naming things. Naming
I
things is
love
fun for
that. I
me.
keep hearing that, and then you reminds you, and then it makes you feel good that, oh, cool, I'm doing this cool thing, and you hear it, and you like get excited to say it.
Yeah, well, and I think a lot of it comes from that background in advertising, right?
Yes.
I have a background, and some people have said, well, how did you, transfer from marketing to hypnosis? And I'm like, it's the same thing, guys. The technical skill sets are a little different, right? The technical skill sets are different, but the essence of being creative and persuasive and trying to put opportunities in front of people and change their frame and their background and their mindset, it's really more similar than you might have thought.
No, definitely. And, you know, I think so many times people think if you jump from one to the other that you can't bring them together. And I love that you can, you know, it's like tapestry, intertwining and like having it all come together and having this skill and that, opposed to just like, oh, I was just this person and then I can't take that on to the next one because I want to change it up.
Yeah. No, well, and then when I came up with this idea of my app, I was like, oh my God, this like fuses all of this technical background that I have. And it puts me into a place of learning because I had to learn a lot of new stuff to make this app. And it's all about providing healing and hypnosis and solutions to help people think better.
I love that. Yeah.
It really felt like, aha, it's all come together.
And I can tell that, like, that's what you're about, is you want to educate, you want to show up for people. And it's, you know,
I want to help people like let go of the junk.
Yes.
And find a better path forward, because, I think in part because I have had two lovely men in my life who passed away. Like I've come to realize, like, we don't know how long we're going to be here.
Yeah.
And tomorrow's tomorrow. Like, what do you got? You got today.
Yeah.
And how can you be in your heart center? How can you appreciate today? How can you celebrate today? How can you get yourself into a place of having those good vibes? Because life can be shorter than you think.
100%. You know, that's how my podcast too, your health vibes. It's how you want to show up. It's not changing who you are, but what energy. And exactly, you and I are very heart centered. The vibe, the energy. We're not trying to change you. We're trying to see you show up and change your vibe and who that is.
Absolutely. Hypnosis cannot change who you are as a person. I cannot make you go out and quit your job or do any of the silly things,
Totally not.
But I can help a lot of people to let go of what doesn't serve anymore and move on.
Yes. Yeah. When I teach my yoga class, I love that you say that. I said, breathe in what serves purpose, breathe out what doesn't serve to you anymore. And it is. I think so many times we think, oh, we have to do this, or society, or, putting that guilt, or, even our ancestral stuff, comes out of what it is. So,
Oh, yeah.
we're going to be closing up. So do you have any little nuggets or any little last tidbits that you want to share with the world of anything?
I would say, what can you do to be thankful for something around you? This is like, be thankful for the pen.
Yeah.
Be thankful for the phone, right?
Mhm.
Like, be thankful for something around you. And what can you do to make the rest of the day a little brighter for yourself and others?
I love that. Well, everyone, thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much for being here. This was magical, and we can talk forever. And she's single. Looking at me, well, men, this is a catch. You would be lucky to have her. So come out. He's coming. He's coming.
Follow me.
But no, just thank you again for sharing your gift of who you are. This was such a beautiful podcast. I just so enjoyed having you here today. You can reach her at michellewalters.net. And I am Elana with Your Health Vibes with Elana. You can reach me at ef11ca@gmail.com. My website is yourhealthvibes.com. And joining me Thursdays bi-weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific, to begin raising your vibration, heart, body, mind, and soul. Thank you so much for being here. We're new streaming network, WGSN-DB Going Solo Network Radio, and we'll see you soon. Thank you for being here. Bye.
Thank you, Elana. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Michelle.